right, let's exercise some common sense and get Doug Wead's opinion on this. As joining us now is former presidential advisor, New York Times bestselling author of Inside Trump's White House, The Real Story of His Presidency, and presidential historian Doug Wead. Doug, can politicians get any more ridiculous than they are right now?
It's pretty bad. You know, May 17th is my birthday, so I'm glad
Happy
they're
birthday.
opening in honor of my birthday. My wife is French, and I called over there tonight to some of my in-laws, and I have a brother-in-law who lives in Geneva and works all over Europe, and they brag on the UK. They're impressed with the fact that the UK had one of the strictest shutdowns and developed their own vaccine, the AstraZeneca vaccine, and have been relatively successful. But nobody compares to the United States, and yet our CDC director was telling everybody she had a sense of, quote, impending doom. That was her forecast for the United States of America. So we're driven by emotion. We are certainly not led by science. We are driven by emotion and the big corporations who want to shut down small businesses.
You're so right. And this is not just an American problem. When you hear what's happening abroad, it's like this global establishment almost. They come into power. And it's weird because Boris Johnson, people were calling him a British Trump. And you listen to that and you're like, he is no close to Donald Trump than any politician. So what is it? Was it an act to get into office where he really was just this establishment character?
I think Donald Trump is an unusual visitation, and I know some people don't like him, but it took someone outrageous to turn over the tables and break the dishes and to take on the big corporations. The viewers of One America News understand this better than anybody else. You can flip through the other channels and listen to the talking heads, and they're totally puzzled by what's going on. But small businesses are being shut down. Small restaurants, McDonald's isn't, Costco isn't. The big corporations, the monopolies, they're doing fine. They're the ones that hated Trump because he deregulated and allowed the small businesses to flourish. That caused the economy to boom. So COVID was a gift to the left wing, and it was an excuse for the big corporations allied with the left wing, multinational corporations, and allowed them to shut down the small businesses. So we're gonna pull them kicking and screaming, drag them out of this COVID disaster. They're gonna hang on to it as long as they can.
You're right, because they've had this monopoly over all of us, and the government has been colluding with them, allowing them to do certain things that mom and pop shops aren't being able to do. But it's the small businesses that really are the backbone, at least of this country. And it's so sad to see what's happening. President Trump started the great American comeback, and Biden, with the pipelines, with everything he's doing now, the gas lines, I saw on Twitter today, people are saying that Biden's finally getting those car rallies to be pretty big. Problem is, they're at the gas stations.
Yes, and you'll notice in the UK, part of the new laws they're passing, the Queen herself mentioned it in her speech, is voter identification. So what, is Coca-Cola now going to boycott the United Kingdom? They're requiring voter. When I ran that by my brother-in-law in Geneva, he said, well, they have voter identification in Italy and France and Germany and everywhere in Europe. Are you telling me they don't have it in the United States? I'm saying, well, that's what they're all upset about, that they're demanding voter ID. And we want, of course, to have mail-in balloting, which is illegal all over the world. Latin America had it for years. That's how they ended up with their dictators. That's how they ended up with runaway inflation that dropped them into poverty. And that's what's happening here in the United States as well.
Do you think the UK saw what happened in our last election that really made them realize they were going to at least learn from our mistakes? I wish our politicians would learn from what happened in the last election. But do you think abroad people are realizing what's happening and that's what's stemming this movement for election integrity?
I wish it was. I don't think so. I think these are just rare moments of common sense that that are bursting out like mushrooms growing after a rain. I think we're headed to the left,
Yeah.
but I have hope because of One America News and journalists like yourself. You can still tell the truth. We won't be. This won't be shown on YouTube. That'll be censored.
You're right.
But at least you can see it live if you're watching it.
Exactly. And Doug, you're such a voice out there exposing this, showing us in history that even when we feel like stuff hasn't happened before, in a way, history does repeat itself. It can be a lot different in the way it appears, but things usually end up showing us how we should move forward. So thank you for what you're doing. Happy early birthday, and I hope you have a really great day. You're such a special person, and we all appreciate you so much.
Thanks to you, Natalie.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
For some reason, this interview you just saw was heavily censored. The only way we know to get around that is if you subscribe to this channel, YouTube channel, and hit the bell. And or if you send this link to a friend in an email, that can get through. Or subscribe to Rumble. They don't seem to censor these. But this one is especially experiencing some rough censorship. Thank you. We're gonna live through this. Bye-bye.